Yo, let me tell y'all as quickly as I can about my night in a sundown town. Excuse me. Yes, I said that correctly. A sundown town. 2022, a sundown town. For those who don't know what a sundown town is, look it up on Google. But anyway, so I get a load going to a particular city in Texas, and I'm like, okay, well, let me head on over here and drop this off. They're gonna pay me this much. That's perfect. I like that. It's a quick 200 miles, make it quick. You know, whatever the amount was, great, cool. I get there and I look at the exit. I'm like, wait a minute. It took me to exit 861A. For those who don't know, it's a place called Vidor, Texas. Vidor. Vidor. I'm like, uh-oh. I've heard stories. Like pretty much everybody I know in Texas that's black tells me, do not go to Vidor, Texas. I'm like, okay. Yet here I was in Vidor, Texas. My load didn't deliver until this morning. This is from the perspective of yesterday. Didn't deliver until tomorrow at 8. It was like 5:30. So I get to the place. I'm not giving names of companies or anything like that. But while I'm driving to the place, I see trailer parks. I see a bunch of Confederate flags. I saw a doll of a black man. It was just a doll wrapped in a Confederate flag hanging from a tree by its neck. That's the type of stuff I saw in Vidor, Texas, which led me to believe that the reputation was fairly earned. I get there. The security guard says, hey, we got a code red. The guy gets on the phone, was like, hey, I can't, I don't want to be responsible for this guy's safety. Let me go ahead and find somebody because we stopped taking loads at 4 o'clock. But I'll get somebody over here from the other side of the plant. Tell them to hang on. So I hang on. I'm doing what I got to do. Finally, somebody comes by about 15 minutes later. The guy said, let me hurry up and get you unloaded. He quickly gets me unloaded. And they say, dude, you might want to get up out of here as soon as possible. We're at sundown. You want to leave here now. Don't stop until you at least get to Beaumont. I was like, okay. He was like, no, seriously. I said, well, what about the police? Why aren't the police there? Police turned a blind eye. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do what you said. He said, yeah, man, I don't want to see you getting in any trouble. So I went ahead and I took off, headed to Beaumont. I went to the Petro in Beaumont, slept there, and I had my Armalite Rifle 15 with me. Slept with a couple of extra magazines, but I'm safe, y'all. But that was my night in the sundown.
And I can imagine that it's very frustrating to hear a white person joking about something like that when that's actually an issue that could be very close to your heart.
That's Madeline Argy. She's an influencer who's apologising for saying she wants to live in a sundown town. It might sound like a cute little holiday village, but the reality couldn't be further from the truth. Sundown towns are neighbourhoods in the US that exclude all people who aren't white, usually African Americans. The reason they're called sundown is because there were literal signs telling all non-white people to leave before sundown. Sundown towns still exist, with this website highlighting which towns in America are still segregated. And even though Madeline's apologised, people are still mad. Madeline has now deleted her initial apology video, which was posted to her 4.7 million followers, and she's replaced it with a new one.
Guys, I want to apologize for the Sundown Town post before that gets to any more ears than it already has without, me being able to say sorry.
Can you imagine actually being told that you have two choices? Stand your ground or go inside your home, hunker down, lock your doors and close your windows and turn off all the lights? Well, that is what these Texas ranchers are facing almost on a daily basis. Some of these ranch owners who are women are arming themselves or they're reinforcing their homes, spending thousands of dollars. But all of them are concerned that this fight has made it to their backyard. A daunting task Debbie Douglas never expected to be part of her daily life.
As you can see, it takes a while.
Rolling up steel shutters, reinforcing windows throughout her Edwards County ranch home.
This is the window that they attempted to break in. This is my granddaughter's room. She does not want these steel shutters rolled up. She wants them down. This is her sense of security now.
A child in fear after alleged undocumented individuals attempted to break into the home that sits on the hunting ranch where Debbie spends half of her time. Captured here in video first seen on News Nation.
Then we added these screens They're steel screens, they're not your regular screens.
What was once her safe, happy place
This whole area is their playground. They basically own it. It's sad.
has now become a fortress of sorts.
It's sickening because we have put in so much to this place. Blood, sweat, and tears. And for it to be destroyed by some criminal organization and drug cartel is heartbreaking.
Texas is a stand your ground state, like Arizona. And Debbie says while the case of Arizona rancher George Allen Kelly makes her question what the outcome would be if she had to protect herself, she knows her rights and will do what is necessary.
I will shoot. I don't want to. I don't want to kill anybody, but if they come toward me, if it's me or them, I'm shooting.
Less than 40% of land along the southern border is privately owned, which includes the Connolly Ranch in Kinney County, just south of Debbie's ranch.
Y'all are busy, aren't you?
Lisa Connolly recently retired from teaching in Bracketville. Now she plays the organ at church and holds down the homestead on a generational cattle ranch that has been in her husband Stan's family since 1907, saying she feels she's being held captive by the cartel.
I'm an American citizen. Where are my rights to be safe in my own home?
Stan always worked the ranch, but since his cancer diagnosis, it has been all hands on deck for the family. And with the stress of safety, Lisa says she feels she's being held captive by the cartel.
I'd like for you to stay in your homes, lock your doors, and at night they say don't attract attention by turning out some of those lights. You don't want to have a large beacon up for them to locate, because all of a sudden you become a stopping point on a map.
But what can they do?
We don't have a neighborhood watch. We have ourselves. And police are not like Johnny on the spot right there, not because they don't want to be, but because of the vastness of the acreage and the miles between us.
For now, both Lisa and Debbie say their first line of defense is packing a pistol.
And why should we have to say, well, we don't deserve this. We're just like every other American citizen that deserves to be protected.
I'm not going to fear them. I'm not going to let them run me out of here.
So Lisa Connolly tells me if she absolutely had to use her weapon in self-defense, she feels supported by her sheriff here in Kinney County. Now, when it comes to Kinney County, they have actually prosecuted nearly 5,000 people for criminal trespass, and the majority of those are undocumented individuals on these ranch lands in Kinney County. Now, that is just since August 21st, 5,000 people prosecuted for criminal trespass.
They make billions of dollars smuggling drugs and illicit goods across the border into the United States, and many of their leaders are wanted across the border. But who are the powerful Mexican drug cartels? The Mexican cartels are the biggest suppliers of illegal drugs into the United States. They move heroin and cocaine, methamphetamine or crystal meth, and now fentanyl. In Tijuana alone, there are 3 cartels fighting for power: the Sinaloa cartel, Jalisco New Generation, and the Tijuana cartel. Although there are many other cartels in Mexico, these 3, plus another known as the Gulf Cartel, are the most powerful in the country. The Gulf Cartel is the oldest cartel in Mexico. Jalisco New Generation come from Jalisco State, and they deal mainly in cocaine. Now, the Tijuana cartel traditionally ran the drugs business in the city, but the Sinaloa cartel has moved into their turf and taken away some of the business. It means now that the city is at the center of a major and bloody turf war, making it one of the most dangerous cities in the country. It is also worth remembering, however, that cartels are more like a cooperative, different factions and different families all operating under one name. The United States is the biggest consumer of both legal and illegal drugs in the world. Now, the border between Tijuana and San Diego is one of the busiest crossing points. It's been at the center of trafficking for decades, and it's not just drugs, but it's human smuggling as well. Arguably the most powerful family, and certainly the most talked about family in the Sinaloa cartel, is the Guzman family and its notorious leader El Chapo. Now, El Chapo is currently in prison serving a life sentence in the United States, but the family business goes on, and fentanyl is right at its heart. Well, traditionally, the Mexican drug trade depended upon plant-based products like heroin and cocaine. But the Sinaloa cartel itself says that's very much part of the history of the drug business now. They no longer need to have huge swathes of land or have farmers worrying about variable weather conditions. They've now moved on to chemical-based drugs, synthetic drugs as they are known. And they're much more lucrative and far easier to make. Cocaine production is still big business here, but fentanyl is catching up quickly. And the reason is quite simple. It's much easier to produce and it's more lucrative because you can ship less and make more money. As far as the cartels are concerned, synthetic drugs are the future.